There comes a day when something inside you goes quiet. You're not sure when it happened exactly. Maybe it was gradual. Maybe it was all at once. But you wake up one morning and realize something has shifted. You're no longer chasing love. You're no longer running toward it, bargaining for it, contorting yourself to keep it. And the strangest part? You feel lighter. For so long, love felt like something you had to earn, something you had to prove you deserved. You thought if you were pretty enough, successful enough, interesting enough, agreeable enough, then love would finally choose you. Then someone would finally stay. So you chased. You texted first. You planned the dates. You smoothed over the conflicts. You ignored the red flags because you were afraid of being alone. You gave more than you received because you thought that's what love required. You twisted yourself into shapes that weren't yours, hoping that this time, this person, this version of yourself would finally be enough. But here's what nobody tells you. The day you stop chasing love is the day you start finding yourself. Because chasing love means running away from something. Usually, it's running from the fear that you're not lovable as you are, that you need to be more, do more, give more to be worthy of staying. And that fear? It makes you small. It makes you quiet your needs. It makes you accept crumbs and call it a feast. I know this because I lived it. I spent years shape-shifting for love. I was the cool girl who didn't ask for commitment, the understanding girl who forgave too easily, the flexible girl who had no deal breakers. I thought I was being open-hearted. I thought I was being mature. I was actually being terrified. Terrified that if I asked for what I really wanted, I'd be too much. Terrified that if I showed my full self, I'd be rejected. So I made myself smaller and smaller, thinking that would make me easier to love. It didn't. It just made me invisible, even to myself. The turning point came on an ordinary Tuesday. I was sitting across from someone I'd been seeing for months, someone I'd bent myself into a pretzel for. And he said something dismissive, something small, something I would have normally laughed off or excused. But this time I felt it, really felt it. The exhaustion, the resentment, the quiet recognition that I was doing all the work, that I was chasing. Again. And suddenly, I was just tired. Tired of performing. Tired of auditioning for a role in someone else's life. Tired of making myself smaller so someone else would feel comfortable. And in that moment, I stopped running. Not dramatically. I didn't storm out or make a speech. I just went quiet inside. I stopped planning my next move. I stopped crafting the perfect text. I stopped wondering how to make him see my worth. Because I realized something. If someone needs convincing to love you, they're not your person. Love shouldn't be a sales pitch. It shouldn't be a constant audition. It shouldn't require you to prove your value again and again and again. Real love, the kind that actually sustains you, doesn't ask you to chase it. It meets you. It shows up. It matches your effort. Now, here's what I want you to understand. Stopping the chase doesn't mean giving up on love. It doesn't mean becoming cold or closed off or cynical. It means something far more radical. It means deciding that you're worth showing up for exactly as you are. It means you stop texting people who leave you on read for days. Not because you're playing games, but because you value your own time and attention. It means you stop making excuses for people who are inconsistent. Not because you're being harsh, but because you're being honest. It means you stop overextending yourself emotionally for people who won't meet you halfway. Not because you're giving up, but because you're preserving your peace. When you stop chasing love, you start noticing patterns you missed before. You notice who initiates, who plans, who remembers, who asks questions about your life, who shows up when things get hard. You notice the difference between someone who's interested and someone who's just interested enough to keep you around. And you start asking yourself better questions. Not, how can I make them love me? But, do I even like who I am when I'm with them? Not, what did I do wrong? But, is this person adding to my life or taking from it? Not, how can I fix this? But, is this mine to fix? Here's what happens when you stop chasing. You create space. Space for self-respect. Space for clarity. Space for the kind of love that doesn't require you to lose yourself to find it. You start saying no to things that don't feel right, even if you can't articulate exactly why. You start trusting your gut when something feels off. You start believing people when they show you who they are, instead of holding out for who they might become. And yes, sometimes this means being alone. Sometimes it means watching people walk away because you won't chase them. Sometimes it means quiet Saturday nights when everyone else seems to be coupled up and happy. But here's the truth: being alone is not the same as being lonely. And choosing yourself is not the same as giving up on love. In fact, it's the opposite. It's saying, I matter enough to wait for something real. I matter enough to not settle. I matter enough to be chosen, not convinced. The most surprising thing about stopping the chase? You become magnetic in a completely different way. Not because you're playing hard to get or using some strategy, but because you're finally fully present in your own life. You're pursuing your interests. You're investing in your friendships. You're building a life you don't need to escape from. And that energy, that groundedness, that self possession, it's attractive in a way that chasing never was. Because you're no longer looking for someone to complete you. You're looking for someone to complement you. There's a massive difference. So if you're watching this and you're exhausted from chasing, I want you to hear this. You can stop. Right now. You can stop analyzing every text. Stop wondering what you did wrong. Stop trying to be perfect enough to be loved. You can just be. And the people who are meant for you, they won't make you chase. They won't make you guess. They won't leave you feeling like you're always one step behind. They'll walk beside you. They'll show up consistently. They'll make their intentions clear. The day you realize you no longer chase love is the day you realize you're worth staying for. Exactly as you are. Right now. Not the improved version. Not the version that's lost 10 pounds or gotten the promotion or healed all your wounds. This version. The real one. That's the day your life changes. Because you stop looking for love to save you. And you start building a life worth inviting someone into. So stop running. Stop chasing. Stop convincing. Just be. The right love won't ask you to do anything else. Thanks for being here. If this resonated, I'd love to hear your story. When did you realize you stopped chasing? What changed for you? Share in the comments. Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And if you want more conversations like this, subscribe to The Unhurried Woman. Let's keep learning to slow down together.